Hey John and Karen, we are here at Myrtle Beach at the family reunion, and we just wanted to let you know that how sad it is that your dad and Yvonne could not join us this year. We were really looking forward to it. We don't get to see them that often, and so it was really with a heavy heart that we are here without those two. And we thought that being here on the Atlantic coast would be an appropriate place to videotape these memories, because we knew how much your dad loved the ocean and how big the sea was a part of his life, and this is the closest sea that we could find.
And I just want you to know how much we treasured him as a brother for the last 42 years. We loved him very much, and we miss him here. Wish he could be here.
One of the things is the Dilbert cartoon. He was always sending those Dilbert cartoons, and he loved those Dilbert cartoons, and Carrie loved those Dilbert cartoons. I didn't always catch the meaning of them.
And there were the canoe trips. And on the trip down the Shenandoah, Carl and Lois I know Carl clambered into the canoe with much confidence and claiming that he did not need any instructions.
Because he's the boatman. He spent all his life on a boat. And probably within 5 minutes, they had capsized.
And the outfitter beside me said, "Boy, it's gonna be a long day."
This is Jens and Yvonne from Denmark. We are part of the Miles family, and we've been adopted, so to speak. I met Carl first time in 1993 when I was on my way to Mexico, and I visited Lois and Carl in Huntington Beach, and I had a wonderful reception. And so then we have met on several other occasions, and we remember one time when we had a reunion in New Jersey that Carl was driving our rental car, and we had modern equipment in the car.
2 years later he had a Tesla.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very fine.
He was always, more advanced than we were. We are still a little bit behind, but we had. He drove our car to a lobster dinner, and our Garmin spoke to him in Danish, and that took him by surprise.
When the Curtis family came to visit the Geikuses on Hurley Hill Road, and John and Karen, and being able to show them the horses and go horseback riding, and it was just such a joy to have them sharing our life there, and to see how they were, you and John and Karen were reacting to the rural life through your eyes as California kids.
When Lois got sick with cancer, we and other cousins were asked to send her hats because she had lost her hair. So we went to Burlington Coat Factory, where they had a bin of old hats. We picked out an orange beret and sent it to them. And Carl called, kind of emotional. Carl called and said it was her favorite. Thank you.
Jerry and Marty Sawyer were cousins, and we spent a nice weekend with Carl, and he took us sailing on his sailboat, and we didn't get seasick or anything.
And the one fun thing I remember is that Lois would say, "You can't give Carl a to-do list at night when he comes home. He has to have it first thing in the morning. He gets up early, like 5 o'clock, and he does all my list. Then he goes to work. Then he's a happy camper when he comes home."
He always loved his puns, and we would always get a good kick out of the puns that he would come up with. And the birthday cards, sometimes he'd send a birthday card just because he found a cute one. So the week before, I had been down at the giant grocery store, and I'd been looking through birthday cards, and I found a birthday card, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna send this birthday card to Carl. I'm gonna send it now. I'm not even gonna wait for his birthday." So it said, "You're aging like a mighty oak. Soon your nuts will fall off." That So Carl,
He had just gotten his Tesla, and he had told us at some other point about how he had put the panels on his roof, the electrical panels on his roof, and it was enough that he could plug in his car every night. I think he got 250 miles out of it, which was we drove for his job, and it was just what amount he needed to get around to all his clients every day, so that was perfect. And he made so much electricity that he got a check from the government, from Huntington Beach, from the utility, because he was putting so much more electricity back in than he needed from his solar panels.
Tom Sawyer. I remember when we had the reunion in Colorado, I got there on my motorcycle, and meanwhile there have been a lot of wildfires on the whole area, and I was worried about the ash falling down on us, and Carl said, "Oh, it sounds like Pompeii, assume the position."
And we all know how Carl loved his Laser 28 sailboat. And in fact, when Carrie and I and the boys were on a hiking and canoeing trip in Canada, Carl met us in Kingston and Lois was also with him, and they were going to be crewing on a similar boat in a big regatta there.
and we, Janet and I, and Angelita Velasquez from El Salvador, had gone up to Toronto, and then we came and met them in the same place. So we all got together in Kingston, Ontario, Canada.
And I remember seeing that sailboat out of the water on the trailer, and the thing looked huge. And Lois says, yeah, they look pretty impressive when they're out of the water.
That I really appreciate about Carl is the fact that even though I didn't see him very often, the times that I did see him, he always greeted me with a warm, loving smile and accepted me for who I was, no matter what. And I just felt loved.
He was always well read. He always liked to read the newspapers, and he would always, when I'd call or he'd call, we'd always talk about, he'd come up with information about El Salvador, where I'd been in the Peace Corps, or Turkmenistan that I hadn't seen, and he'd let me know all about it, and then we would discuss it. And when we'd fuss about the government too, we'd always talk and fussy about the government, and he'd always say, now follow the money.
So the sailboat, your dad loves sailing. And we realized how much our sister loved your dad when we as kids, we always got motion sickness. And Lois would be in the front seat, Dotsie and I would be in the back seat with our bags, and Freddie boy was on the floor trying not to get sick. But Lois figured out how to not be sick and be able to be out on that sailboat with your dad.
It is probably a poorly kept secret that Lois bought all of Carl's clothes for him, with the possible exception of the 20 or so navy blazers that we would find in his closet. But Lois would also buy Carl his shirts, and she had impeccable taste. And after they ran their useful life with Carl, Lois would pack them up and she would send them to me, and I would get at least another 20 years of life out of them. But the thing is, they were always so great looking that people never failed to stop and compliment me on what great shirts Lois had picked out.
The reunion is coming to an end. We've got this gorgeous ocean here, and Carl and Yvonne, we